It's a great day, sports world. What's going on, all the sports lovers, haters, addicts, and fanatics out there? This is Larry Patterson coming to you for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports. Live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. We got the Thursday night preview for the Patriots at the Falcons. Patriots coming in at 6-4. Falcons coming in at 4-5, just coming off the loss. Funny thing is, because the Patriots beat Cleveland, stumped them 45-7, and Dallas stumped on Atlanta 43-3. And I know a lot of jokes were made with the 28-3 joke, and Atlanta kind of came back on Twitter, was like, yeah, we know. So in this matchup, it's the rematch of Super Bowl 51, and this one highlights number 15 overall pick, the rookie Mac Jones out of Alabama. Last week against Cleveland, he was 19 of 23, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. He got sacked twice. He was pressured only 3 times, and he had a rating of a 142.1 on the season. He 223 for 323, 23-33 on the yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So at least New England can go in the future knowing that they have a competent quarterback. He ain't really doing much, in some games, but basically leaning on the run game. Thanks to the run game and thanks to a defense, he's just picking up the pieces. Just basically picking up where what's given to him. So he's got a 69 completion percentage, a rating of a 94.1, and he's been sacked 19 times. And not much of on carries, 19 carries, 59 yards. But he doesn't have the best weapons, but he's doable. He's got doable weapons. Jacoby Myers last week against Cleveland, 4 targets, 4 catches, 49 yards, and a touchdown. He's got 76 targets, so I think that leads the team. 50 catches, 483 yards, averaging 48.3 yards per game. So it's not a lot of big numbers, but like my man Rob Johnson, shout out to Rob Johnson Sports, Legacy Maker Sports. He said that this team was a very dangerous team, and I had laughed at him. Well, I laughed at his post, and after seeing that, I can see why he say that. But then you also have Kendrick Bourne, who was obtained in the offseason. He had 4 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown last week. 3 carries, 43 yards. So he was really used in that offense in that game. 43 targets, 33 catches, 520 yards, 3 touchdowns. For the speedy wide receiver Hunter Henry, he's got some good numbers. He had 4 catches, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. On the season, 42 targets, 31 catches, 353 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That's not, as far as tight ends, I don't think that's like the big numbers like the Travis Kelce, like the 600 and the 500s, but 7 touchdowns. He's definitely using that offense very well. Nelson Aguilar, he had 2 catches, 21 yards last week. 24 catches, 356 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the season. And then you got guys like Brandon Bolden, who could be used this week, and then next week you don't hear from him. But he's been used a lot more here with 3 catches, 38 yards last week. He's got 27 targets, 25 catches, 227 yards, and a touchdown. So they always seem to find those running backs that can catch and do work out the backfield and all that good stuff. Ramondre Stevenson, who had a big week last week, 4 catches, 14 yards. He's got 13 total targets, 11 catches, and 111 yards on the season. Patriots pass offense ranks 14th, 241.7 yards per game. Got putting up a 72.4 completion percentage. That ranks second. 7.7 on the yards per average. That ranks ninth. 98 106.5 that ranks 10th in rating. Atlanta's pass defense is, let's face it, it's really shitty. At Dallas, Dak Prescott was 24 31, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had a rating of a 127.9. The Falcons defense ranks 17th, giving up 246.2 yards per game, averaging a completion percentage of 69.1. That ranks 28th. A rating of 106.5. That's 31st. And giving up 2,200 yards, just a little over 2,200 yards. That's ranks 14th. They gave up 19 passing touchdowns. That ranks 29th. So the first 5 games, 244 yards per game and 11 touchdowns. The last 4 games, 248 yards per game and 8 touchdowns. Ain't really too much of a difference. 300 plus yard game, and that was against Dallas, and 2 100+ yard games allowed, and that was against the Jets and the Panthers. So at least they're not giving up 300 yards per game every game. It's usually within that 250 to 290 mark or whatever. But AJ Terrell, as much as I see this kid every week, I like the way he covers. He's got a completion percentage of a 47.4, and he's got a rating of a 65.7. He's been phenomenal. Their best cover corner. And I had kind of questions about him getting drafted because he was often beat in college, but he's definitely shining this year in his second year. Fabian Moreau's got a 62.7 completion percentage, giving up a rating of a 125.8. Jalen Hawkins, I think he missed last week. He's got a 50 completion percentage on the year, 66.2 on the rating. Eric Harris, a 93.2 rating, 71 completion percentage. So not a lot of good coverage coming out of those, out of that group. Falcons pass rush, one of the weakest of the league. 11 sacks, that ranks 32nd. 35 quarterback hits, that ranks 31st. 62 pressures, that ranks 30th. In the last 4 games, just 2 sacks, 13 quarterback hits, and 24 pressures. So it's not a lot. Deion Jones, Jacob Tuidy, Mariner, and Dante Fowler are your sack leaders. Grady Jarrett, your pressures leader, and that's just with 11. Foyesade Olakun's got 8. Stephen Means got 6. So this pass rush is just non-existent, and that's what makes me want to keep going with New England in this one because, where's the pressure going to generate from? Maybe you can get something tonight. You're at home. It's Thursday night. A lot of crazy games been happening this year. Hey, make it happen. Falcons run defense at Dallas allowed 37 carries, 114 yards, 3.1 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. That ranks 21st. 122.1 on the yards per average. A little over 100+ yards in the last 2 games. That's what they've been allowing. Tony Pollard had 11 carries, 42 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. Ezekiel Elliott, 14 carries, 41 yards, 2.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. So, like I said, the last 2 games, just a little over 100. But for the most part of the season, they've been kind of getting cooked in the run game. But that's where Ramondre Stevenson comes in at against Cleveland last week. 20 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 yards per carry. He had 55 carries, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, and averaging 4.3 yards per carry on the year. Brandon Bolden versus Cleveland last week, 3 carries, 32 yards, 10.7 yards per carry. He's got 25 carries, 140 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. So this is a lot that you're getting out of him this year. And he's pretty good. He'll come in spurts. Damian Harris could be back this week. He leads the Patriots with 133 carries, 547 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.1 yards per carry, averaging 60.8 yards per game. He's fumbled twice, but for the most part, he is their guy, and he's got Ramondre Stevenson there to back him up. So it's been a real good, strong, powerful run attack. Like I pictured in the beginning of the season, I said that this team was going to be very run heavy. So Cordero Patterson, I think he's gonna be out for this game, and that's a blow because now Matt Ryan's just limited to a couple pass catchers or weapons. Excuse me, my sinus is acting up too. Cordero Patterson, 77 carries, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3.9 yards per carry. And he's also using the pass game as well. He's a wide receiver, really. 49 targets, 39 catches, 473 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging 52.6 yards per game. Matt Ryan at Dallas last week was just horrible. 9 for 21, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked twice and had a rating of a 21.4, averaging 5.6 yards per attempt. Thrown for 300 plus 4 times this year. So, but I don't know if that's going to happen against this Patriots defense. But Matt Ryan, 218 for 322, 2274 on the yards, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He got sacked 16 times on the year, got a 67.7 completion percentage, and a 93.1 rating. Going against that Patriots pass defense versus Cleveland last week, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Baker Mayfield, 11 for 21, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Case Keenum came in, 8 for 12, 81 yards. The Patriots pass defense ranks 8th, 220.1 yards per game. Having a completion percentage of a 59.4, that ranks 3rd. A rating of a 75.7, that ranks 2nd. Giving up 22.01 on the yards, that ranks 13th. 13 passing touchdowns, that's tied for 8th. In the last 2 weeks, under 200 yards against the pass. J.C. Jackson being that other that DB over there, that's pretty good. I believe he's got I think he's got 5 interceptions on the year. Kyle Duggar and Adrian Phillips got 3 interceptions on the year. So J.C. Jackson has been like that for the last couple of years. He's got a completion percentage of a 50.7 and a rating of a 46.8. Do not throw his way. Jalen Mills, 61.9 completion percentage. Kyle Duggar, I've been liking the way he's been playing this year, solidifying his role in that defense. 62.9 completion percentage and a 72.4 rating, defensive rating. Adrian Phillips also in there making plays. Kyle Van Noy, Devin McCourty, and Joejuan Williams also. Patriots pass rush versus Cleveland. 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 15 pressures. They have 24 sacks, that's tied for 10th. 57 quarterback hits, that's tied for 13th. 98 pressures, that's tied for 7th. Matt Judon is that guy over there getting that pressure, getting 9.5 sacks. Josh Uche with 3, Dietrich Wise with Kyle Van Noy with 2, Matt Judon with 19 quarterback hits, and then Matt Judon with 31 pressures. So Matt Judon's just doing a lot of work. Do not lose that guy. Christian Barrymore is a big defensive lineman on the front from Alabama that I really like. He's got 12 pressures. Dietrich Wise got 11 pressures. Kyle Pitts, as I said earlier, probably be one of the only targets last week against Dallas. Just 7 targets, 4 catches, 60 yards. He was the main guy. He's got 64 targets, 40 catches, 606 yards, and 1 touchdown, averaging 67.3 yards per game. And due to Calvin Ridley in his mental health situation, hoping that he gets well with that. So other pass catchers for Matt Ryan tonight, Olamide Zaccheaus from UVA. He had 2 catches, 22 yards last week. He's got 15 catches, 194 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the year. Russell Gage is another one. 16 catches, 159 yards, 1 touchdown, not getting the production out of him that you're usually getting. Hopefully he could turn it up again tonight. Turn it up a notch tonight. Hayden Hurst, he's been quiet this year. Tajay Sharp or Christian Blake, somebody, can step up. Mike Davis, being that Cordero Patterson's going to be out for this game, Mike Davis probably going to be that guy to maybe step it up or take over the leads, or Wayne Gallman. So whichever one. Kyle Pitts, 2 100-yard games this year. The last 3 games, he's just been targeted 20 times, just 9 receptions. So defenses are really keying on him, or Matt Ryan just can't simply find him. Patriots run defense ranks 14th, 107.9 yards per game, 5 games allowing under 100 yards, and 5 games allowing over 100 yards, half and half. Falcons run defense ranks 29th, 82.9 yards per game. So with this game tonight, also on third downs, New England ranks 4th. New England offense ranked 4th. Atlanta's defense ranks 31st. Atlanta's offense is ranked 14th on third downs. New England's defense is ranked 10th. And in those red zone opportunities, New England's offense ranked 18th. Atlanta's defense ranked 28th. Atlanta's offense ranked 15th. New England's defense ranked 7th. I think with what's been going on with the Thursday night games, a lot of confusion, a lot of just like what in the fuck is going on here. I think tonight that puts an end to it. I think New England can capitalize on this, and I think Belichick can cook up a good defensive scheme to stop this. Then again, Matt Ryan could sling the rock everywhere. Who knows? But I got New England winning this one. I think it's like 30-18 or something like that. So they're not done yet. We thought we were going to be losing them for a couple years, but those Patriots seem to be staying around here, huh? Well, this is Larry Patterson for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. As always,